Hi, I'm Catherine Diorio, and welcome to Check Please, the show where regular people from all over Chicago recommend and review their favorite restaurants. So this is how the show works. Each week we have 3 guests. Each recommends his or her favorite restaurant, and we send the other 2 to check them out and tell us what they think. This week, IT salesman Matt Davidman says there's no need for a hard sell here because hands down, no question about it, his selection simply has the best Thai food in the city of Chicago. But veterinarian Jane Lomar says that even if it was raining cats and dogs, it couldn't keep her from a fabulous night at her favorite Lincoln Square spot. Up first, development coordinator Erica Chavez knows all about places for tacos, burritos, and enchiladas. But she says if you want a truly authentic Mexican experience, there's only one place to go. You gotta follow her to Cicero and stop in at Gorditas Aguascalientes.
I'm coming from a town and a state called Aguascalientes. We are right the center of Mexico. I'm always right in front to take care of the people, to listen to what they say. I'm sure that they're gonna walk out satisfied because my food is 100% original, authentic, cooked at the moment. My specialty is gorditas. My gorditas are handmade. Even the tortillas are handmade.
So Erica, you say Gorditas Aguascalientes is truly one of a kind. Tell us why you chose it.
I've been going to Gorditas Aguascalientes since I was a little girl. I discovered it with my father, and when we went there, it was basically a hole in the wall, 10 by 10 hole in the wall, and I remember very vividly watching the señoras, the little old ladies, you know, making the gorditas by hand and just being entranced by how awesome that looked. Their specialty is gorditas, and essentially what they are is if you picture a tortilla, and just a little bit thicker and sliced right in the middle and stuffed with any goodness that you can imagine. The dough of the gordita is still very warm, but then the cheese kind of melts over and the frijoles squirt from the bottom, and you're just like, don't know whether you should eat the top or like grab it on the bottom. But it's great. That happens with every gordita. It's gonna break, it's gonna, you know, spill over, but that's part of the whole experience of eating one, and that's the best place to go and have one.
Great. So Matt, what did you think?
It was a very unique experience. The second we walked in, I was with my dad and one of my friends, and we asked for a table, and we kind of got a blank stare back, and we kind of realized quickly that there was going to be a little bit of a language barrier, which is exciting because it's, the Mexican places I go to in Lincoln Park, Lakeview, it's very much more Americanized, and this was cool. It was just like I felt very authentic being there. I was going to get some real food. The gordita, we all actually ordered I think the Don Cuca, was awesome. Really unique. I was kind of describing it to some of my friends as like a pita, but more Mexican style. As the only thing I could think of to describe it.
That's a good description.
Yeah,
I'm going to use that.
Yeah, good. That was great. We had a few different tacos. The al pastor was delicious. The steak and chicken left a little bit to the imagination, unfortunately, a little dry. Then we also had the carne asada, which was good. Nothing incredible. It was just good. It's what I expected from a Mexican restaurant. The guacamole left me wanting a little more. I wanted a little more citrus, a little more heat from it. Maybe I'm just picky. I don't know. But it was really fun seeing a lot of families in there, seeing just a lot of people just enjoying their time, their meals together in an environment I was not used to, and it was fun. We had a good time. It was a great experience.
That's the whole point.
I had a good time while I was there, and my friends and I had a good time, but I did find the food kind of lacking. Okay. And the main thing that I found lacking was flavor. We ordered a ton of things. There were 6 of us, so we ordered a lot of gorditas and some tacos and some enchiladas, and somebody ordered a shrimp plate and somebody else ordered the burrito. And like you, I felt like some of the food was just kind of bland and dry. And then there were other dishes that had a lot more flavor, a lot more interest, but it was very hit and miss to me. Okay. So What I did like though was the gorditas, because I couldn't figure out the words to describe it, because somebody's like, it's a tortilla, and I'm like, it's not. It kind of reminded me, without the sweetness, of like naan bread, you know, that kind of spongy, not, you know,
Yeah.
you love to bite into
Absolutely.
that. And if that had been like in a basket on the table, I would have eaten that all by itself,
Yeah.
right? But it was, you know, a little hit and miss. Like the burritos, we all tasted it. Everybody really, really liked the chicken burrito. That was a hit.
Mr. Andre Macias, he actually is from the state in Mexico called Aguascalientes. So he actually had gone home to visit family, saw this, like, stopped at a gordita stand there, and he said, no one's doing this in the States, and brought this here 25 years ago. I guess the question is, I mean, is it authentic? Do you feel it's authentic?
You know, it's authentic gorditas. You know, the concept is authentic. The food is authentic. I think that, and I might not be correct, but the setup, the way that you seat yourself, the way that the carrots are on the table, and how your order is placed, and how you just get up and pay, is made to mimic lonchera in Mexico, which is a midday lunch place where you go.
It was like a cafeteria, like a middle school cafeteria, like, but it was fun though.
Yeah.
It was like being back.
It was kind of that cafeteria thing where everything is like really bright, and the
Yeah.
mirrors and the white tile, and you walk in like this. You
Yeah.
know, it's so bright.
Yeah.
Well, Erica, you've been going since you were a little girl,
Yes.
so give us the inside scoop on what people should order if they go.
So definitely the gorditas, right? My favorite there is the frijoles con queso, which is beans with cheese. It's very simple, very basic, but it's so awesome. We recently started venturing into their seafood menu. There's seafood fried rice, I would say. It's almost, I would equate it to. It's delicious.
Well, Erica, you chose Gorditas Aguascalientes. Sum it up for us.
Go over to Aguascalientes, have a gordita, and have an horchata or fresh squeezed orange juice, and you'll be happy you did so.
Great. And Matt?
Gorditas. Go for the gordita. I have not found anything like it in Chicago. Definitely worth the adventure out there just for that.
Great. And Jane?
I'd say if you're in the neighborhood and you want a good hearty meal that's a really good value and a good volume, go, but know how to pick.
You can try the Gorditas for yourself at Gorditas Aguascalientes, 2106 South Cicero, 708-656-8933. Open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. Reservations are accepted, and the average tab per person without drinks is $10. Jane Lomar has had her heart broken a few times with restaurants in Lincoln Square, but when her selection opened a few years back, she immediately fell in love. She says that you will too if you join her at Gather.
It is a place for the community to come together, whether that be celebrating with each other, whether it be families coming out for a dinner, whether that be date night, whether that be for a drink and an appetizer or a full meal. The idea was for people to come and gather. I think the fact that we are small and we have an open kitchen allows us to create an intimacy and knowledge with our regular client base. A great neighborhood, family-driven. Old Town School of Folk Music is to the north, brings a lot of foot traffic, a lot of concerts. We have the library, we have the square to the north, a lot of people that just enjoy walking up and down the area. It's very rewarding. There's a lot of work that goes into this business. There's a lot of people that put a lot of effort that isn't seen or recognized. And it feels very good on a nightly basis when we hear people walking out saying what a great experience they had from start to finish.
Jane, you say no place brings everybody together like Gather. Tell us why you chose it.
I love this place because I feel like it's a fun place to go to. It's bright, it's cheery, it's warming, but a little cozy too. And the food is fantastic. Like, there's always something new on the menu, always something fresh and interesting and inviting, and the flavors are really good. And I sometimes look at the menu and go, I don't know what to order. There's so many good things. I really want everything.
So what kind of food can we expect to find there?
I guess I would call it upscale comfort food. So you can get a burger, like really good burger and fries, which I had last time, which was fantastic. And you can get a nice fish dish, or you can get pork belly, or you can get chicken. I have had so many different dishes there that I don't even know how to pick. But there's always one that, it seems to always be one that has like egg. You know, it's always rich and yummy and delicious.
Great. And Erica, what'd you think?
I loved it. I'm so happy that I now know of Gather. I went with a group of 6 and, was a little, they didn't mess up my reservation. I just didn't read their website correctly. I was looking forward to sitting in the kitchen counter.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want to do that. Sometime I want to do that.
And when you're making a reservation, it asks you if you want a counter height table. We get there and the guy's like, oh, here's your table. And very nice, great service, by the way. But I'm like, no, I want to sit over there. That's where my reservation was made. He's like, no, we actually don't reserve that space. So it was a little bummer, but man, after that, it was all uphill. It was great.
Now you have to go back.
Yeah, definitely.
And Matt.
My only regret was I was not the one to recommend this restaurant.
That makes me happy.
It's one of my new favorite restaurants. I can't wait to go back already. I was like welcomed immediately. Like we were brought into the family the second we walked in.
Yeah.
We talked to Scott, the bartender. It's great that the bar seating is like directly across from the kitchen seating.
Yeah.
Right.
So no matter where you're going in the restaurant, you're pretty much going to be exposed to both.
Yeah.
So we were talking to the bartender while we were turning around just saying like, oh, you should try this. When we turn around, there's literally being plated in front of us. The food was incredible. Just amazing. The gathering board is their kind of charcuterie plate. And I wanted to order like 4 of them. The Brussels sprouts as well were just.
Oh my God, they're amazing.
What I was expecting to happen
I love the
right there.
Brussels sprout.
I'm not a Brussels sprouts person. I don't really like them that much.
are now,
but
though.
I am sold on Brussels sprouts. And yeah, we ordered maybe 10 dishes total, and everything was just perfect.
So it's funny, you guys all kind of got very excited about the Brussels sprouts. The chef Ken Carter, actually, he came from Charlie Trotter's, so he was used to working with vegetables for these vegetarian tasting menus. So that's kind of one of these things he's very good at. It's one of his specialties, I should say.
And did you guys have the corn, by the way?
No, I didn't.
I loved it. I thought it was it was like the jalapeno creaminess, sweet corn. I thought it was awesome.
We shared a lot of the small bowls. The steak tartare, I think, was my favorite. And for the entrees, we had the halibut. The halibut was great. And the short rib, it was.
Yeah, those are the ones we had.
What did you think about it?
I thought the halibut was awesome. It
Yeah.
was whatever the sauce that came with it was really unique to having it with fish, I thought. And it was great. And the short rib had the flash fried broccoli, which the short rib was perfectly cooked, the seasoned well. But I just thought
I
there's some.
disagree. I didn't like it. I thought it was too dry. It was overcooked. I was not impressed by it. But that was the only.
Maybe we got lucky on our short, or you got
Or
unlucky.
maybe
you
I
got
got
unlucky on
lucky.
your short rib.
We had a lot of the cocktails on the menu.
Did you have the rhubarb one?
No.
Oh, you got to go
It's
back to
good.
the rhubarb one.
Yeah, the person sitting next to me had an old fashioned, which I'm not a whiskey, drinker, but I had a little bit of his cocktail, and it was great. I was just like, yes, my kind of spot. Like everything tastes great.
Well, Jane, you go there a lot. This is your choice. Kind of like maybe give us some of your greatest hits that you really love on the menu.
Well, that egg dish, whatever it is, whatever variation of the egg dish is, get it. And the vegetables, get them. Because we had green beans and Brussels sprouts and cauliflower, and we kind of argued about which one was the best. They mix these flavors, and they all come out together beautifully. So I'd say just go with your gut.
The menu's divided into these share plates, and then obviously to share, and then these appetizers that are kind of individual size, although you can share them, and then an entree. how would you recommend someone orders? Like, what would you say people should do when they go there?
I would say mix and match however you want, right? You could make a whole meal out of the appetizers and the shared plates if you wanted to, especially like the charcuterie, dish or something like
Just
that.
make sure, don't be surprised when someone just takes a fork and slowly does one of those things and steals some of your food.
From the next table.
But Jane, you chose Gather. Sum it up for us.
I'd say if you're looking for a place that is upscale, comfort food, in an inviting place that you're going to be delighted and excited by, go to Gather.
Erica?
I will say if you are adverse to eating vegetables or don't like them that much, you'll definitely like them after visiting Gather. It's a great place.
Awesome. And Matt?
Top quality food at a price that is better than you could hope for, and just get ready to eat as much as you can.
You can try the halibut and more at Gather, 4539 North Lincoln, 773-506-9300. Open for dinner every day and also for brunch on Sunday. Reservations are accepted, and the average tab per person without drinks is $30.
Yeah, everybody give me a big hand. Let's do it. Yeah. All right.
Matt Davidman doesn't shy away from bold flavors, and he says the food at his selection is bursting with them. For the most extensive, authentic Thai menu around, make your way to Lakeview and check out Andy's Thai Kitchen.
ATK and this Thai kitchen. Some customer that I heard from, they say, why am I going to ATK? Is it going to be real Thai food? Is it Thai people cooking in the kitchen? This is me, ATK. It's me, Andy. So I'm here, and my name is Andy. So you come here, you get real Thai food. So I guarantee it. It's more like casual, so nothing too serious. The best thing is like BYOB, so you can come here and bring your own beverage, bring your own alcohol. I hope we can improve about everything, and to make people come here, had the food, and then went back home with a happy face and like smiling face.
So Matt, you say ATK is unique and exciting. Why'd you choose it?
It's my go-to Thai restaurant in the city, and in the Lincoln Park, Lakeview area, there's a ton of them. This one has that really authentic taste with really bold flavors. I hope you like spicy.
Love it.
Every dish on the menu is going to be spicy. There's just so many different things to choose from, and nothing on the menu has really been a miss for us yet. And I go with my buddy who introduced me to the restaurant maybe 4 times a month at this point. And
Wow.
It's very convenient for me, so that's the good thing. And it's always a good time. It's a BYO. It's a very relaxed, friendly atmosphere.
So I mean, the menu is very extensive. So maybe give us some pointers on what people should order.
I was just there the other day. We had the basil pork leg this time. Go outside the box. Go with something that looks weird to you. The basil preserved egg. You're not going to find that many other places in the city. Really, really unique take. It's kind of like a Jell-O version of an egg that's been preserved for a pretty long time. Go with something that maybe one ingredient that you're pretty familiar with and a few things that look different to you. Odds are it's going to be great.
Great. Jane, how was your experience?
I loved it. I mean, I love the Thai restaurant in my
We can
neighborhood.
trade restaurants. This is good.
But this one, I was like, wow. The thing that makes me crazy is you go to Thai restaurants in the city and they have the same menu every time. And this has some of the same things like pad see ew or whatever. But then there's other stuff you're like, what? I don't know what that is. And it sounds really good. And it is very, really flavorful. I didn't think it was spicy for everything, but some of the stuff was really spicy. One of the dishes we had, when you got to the bottom, you were like, whoa, that's a little different than it was at the top of the pot.
The sauces tend to kind of absorb all the jalapenos and all the spice at the bottom, so the last couple of bites might be a little bit different than the first few.
And it's Central Thai cuisine, which tends to go a little sweeter than spicier.
Oh, okay.
Southern Thai is where you're going to get that real spice, which a lot of people really associate with Thai food. So Erica, what about your experience?
I liked it. No,
That's not good.
Bring it on, Erica.
no. But it was great. We had a couple of bumps with service there, which kind of dampened the experience a little.
It can definitely be hit or miss, slow, or just there's always an experience when you're there where something interesting is bound to happen.
Well, Erica, what happened? So,
we were eating, and then all of a sudden, we see the check on our table, and it's like, well, how long have we been here? And it really wasn't that long, but we were never offered dessert. I felt like we were a little rushed, like they were waiting for us to kind of get out of there. But other than that, I think that the food is definitely solid, and I totally understand what you're saying about it presenting traditional Thai flavors with new ingredients or in other ways, because that was totally my experience there. We had the pomfret, I believe it's a fish. I'd never had it before. I went with 4 of my girlfriends and a little one. He had the tofu soup and he loved it. So it's kid friendly, but so that was great. And I also had the basil mussels, which I've never had mussels in a Thai restaurant. So, the flavor was like a spicy basil chicken, but just in, mussel form, I guess. So that was interesting, and I really appreciated that.
Well, Chef Andy Amarasarong, he's from Thailand. He actually moved here in '95, and he learned to cook from his mom, and so does the central cuisine, and then also a little bit of northeastern cuisine, which they call isat. So you'll get some of those more like funkier flavors, maybe.
That's kind of what I like. They have a lot of things that are just you would never think to order, even think to have on a restaurant menu that they do really well.
Totally agree.
And there's some wild stuff.
The duck noodle thing. It comes in this pot, and it's got this really dark chocolate brown broth and a lot of like vegetables and herbs and leaves and stuff like that. And that was the one where you got to the bottom, you're like, whoa, whoa, I think my brain is gonna explode. But the flavors were amazing. Like I would get that in a second.
Okay, so Matt, tell us what else. What about the atmosphere? Like, who should you bring there?
Bring friends, bring a date. Not necessarily good for large parties, as the no reservation can definitely be an issue. I've never had to wait before, so maybe they just like me a lot. I don't know. Bring people that are willing to try some new things and are just looking to have a good time at It's not a quiet restaurant by any means. It's not overly noisy. I don't think there's any music. But there's going to be life, there's going to be conversation. I should say cash only, though. It
is cash only.
If I could say one thing I wish, just let us use a credit card. It's so much easier.
They have that little sign that says, to keep our prices down, we've decided to go all cash. And you got to respect that.
Well, Matt, you chose ATK. Sum it up for us.
Authentic, delicious, spicy, bold flavored Thai food nestled into a little hole in the wall in Lakeview.
Great. Erica?
Great place to experience Thai flavors in non-traditional ways. Definitely go there if you're in the area, and even if you are not, it's worth a trip.
Great. And Jane?
For Thai food that you can't get anywhere else and that you will love, go to Andy's Thai Kitchen.
You can try the Thai flavors for yourself at Andy's Thai Kitchen, 946 West Wellington, 773-549-7821. Open for lunch and dinner every day. Reservations are not accepted, alcohol is BYOB, they are cash only, and the average tab per person is $23. So on this week's show, we featured Gathered in Lincoln Square, Gorditas Aguascalientes in Cicero, and Andy's Thai Kitchen in Lakeview. Let's recap what our guests had to say. First, we headed west and stopped in at Gorditas Aguascalientes. Erica recommends it for the best and most authentic gorditas around. Matt liked the gorditas and thought it was an authentic experience. Jane thought the food was hit and miss and needed more flavor. Next, we landed on Lincoln and tried out Gather. Jane recommends it for amazing, flavorful food in an inviting atmosphere. Matt said it's one of his new favorite restaurants and loved everything from start to finish. Erica enjoyed her experience overall and would definitely return. Lastly, we went to Wellington and checked out Andy's Thai Kitchen. Matt recommends it for the unique Thai cuisine that brings him back time and time again. Jane absolutely loved it and was excited by the interesting dishes. Erica thought the food was great, but felt a little rushed by the service. We've had such a good time this week. I want to thank my guests, Jane Lomar, Erica Chavez, and Matt Davidman. Join us next week for 3 new guests recommending 3 of their favorite restaurants right here on Check Please. I'm Catherine DiOrio, and I'll see you then. Cheers.
For more information about the restaurants featured on Check Please, go to WTTW.com/checkplease.